Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and to another video. I have been back in Wales for 10 days now. I came back from France last Monday, it's now Wednesday, and ever since I came back I've been preparing myself for my second placement. I study French and German, for those of you that don't know, so it was required of me to go to a French speaking country and a German speaking country for my placement year, split. So I have lived in Germany before and I've never been to Austria. So I applied for a place at the University of Vienna and I got in. This was part of the application process for my studying abroad placement that I did last year. Yeah, ever since I got back from France, I've been preparing for my placement in Austria. I'm very, very, very excited because I'm missing life abroad very much, as lovely as it is to be home. Yeah, I'm just excited to be able to explore a new country, and I thought I would film or make a video on the application process for a visa. Now we are no longer in the EU, it is required to have a visa if we are staying in a country for more than 3 months. So I will be in Vienna from the end of next month to the end of July, so it is going to be a period of more than 3 months, and therefore I will need a visa. And I would have found a video like this really helpful when I applied for a visa to go to France, because I also needed to do this to go to France. And I would have filmed the process, but I didn't have my camera back then, and to be honest, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't really know what I was doing because I didn't get much guidance from the uni, and it was a pretty complicated process, to be honest. So I would have really found a video like this helpful. Is my hair sticking up? I feel like my hair has been sticking up for most of that intro. Anyway, yeah, I would have found a video like this really useful, and for any of you who are contemplating doing a year abroad or just want to know what it's like, or maybe you're even going to Austria yourself and this could help you in any way. I hope you find it helpful. What I'm going to do is talk you through each bit step by step and then go through the process of doing it. So I've not actually done the process yet. I thought it would be good to film it kind of in real time, because then I can document anything that I might find confusing, and then how I get over the hurdle that I'm finding confusing. Yeah, you'll kind of approach it with me as I make my way through the process. So basically what you have to do is you make an application. It works differently for this than it did for the French one. So to get my French visa, it was actually handled through a third party. So I just made an application through them, and then I had to go to London. But for the Austrian one, you apply directly at the Austrian embassy in London. They give you an appointment, and then for the appointment you have to gather the relevant documents that they need. I'll go through all of this with you when on the screen in a moment. But yes, so then you go to London. You unfortunately, I will have to make a trip to London. I don't mind because I love going to London, but it was a bit awkward with the French one because I didn't know how it was going to work, so I couldn't plan anything in advance. And because I live all the way in Wales, travelling to London at short notice was very, very expensive. So although the visa didn't cost anything because I'm covered by the Erasmus grant, I think I had to just pay an admin fee of £33 or something. Yeah, it still was expensive because all in all, I think my trains to London and back cost around £300 in total, which is a lot. So I'm doing all this well in advance so that it's hopefully not as expensive for me. Yeah, so you have to go to London then for your appointment, which is like, it's not really an interview, but they call it kind of an interview. You hand them the relevant documents. You also hand them your passport. Now, I didn't realise that your visa goes in your passport. I thought it was a separate document. So when I was trying to, I also didn't realise that you had to go to London, had to go to an appointment, blah, 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 blah. So when I was applying for my French visa and it was getting closer and closer to my term starting at uni over there, I kind of thought, oh well, it doesn't matter, I've got an allowance of 3 months to be there anyway, so I can just go and then apply for the visa while I'm out there. Stupid me. Yeah, of course it's not going to be that easy. So you hand in your passport to the embassy, and then they issue the visa in the passport, and then you get it back. I think it took around 10 days last time for my passport to come back to me. You have two options. You can either give them a prepaid envelope for them to send it back to you, your passport now, or you can go back to London to collect it. Now, I personally really don't want to risk potentially not getting my passport back. One of my friends, I think, did have her passport lost in Royal Mail, and they did nothing to compensate her other than give her, I'm pretty sure they just gave her a pack of first class stamps. I'm pretty sure that happened. I might be wrong, but yeah, and I definitely don't want to run the risk of losing my passport this close to travelling. Firstly, I did some research regarding which kind of visa I needed, because there's all kinds of different ones, long stay, short stay. I wanted to find out which visa it was that I needed to study in Austria, and after research, you can find a lot of information online about this, I discovered that I needed a visa D. I also think that checking the embassy is always a good way of getting information, because they have lots of relevant information on there. If we go to the Austrian embassy, it will give us the information we need. At the top they have here, travelling to Austria, and then entry requirements, visa and immigration, and it's got a lot of information on anything to do with visas, and at the side here it says visa D. So this tells you what it is that the visa D is needed for, and as you can see here, students of 1 semester. So this is a specific long-term stay up to 6 months. I'm going to be in Austria, as I said, from February until the end of July, which is longer than the 3-month allowance that you are allowed, the 3-month visa free travel allowance, but I need to have a visa for longer than 3 months, so this is the right one. And then if you scroll down, it says that the applications have to be submitted at the Austrian embassy in London. Please send an email, and it has a link here to the email address to secure an appointment at the embassy. I did this, it was very easy. I secured an appointment within, well, I emailed, and then half an hour later they emailed back. All they wanted to see was proof of admission to the university, and the Uni of Vienna had sent me an admissions certificate thing, so I just sent that back to them, and then within, I don't know, I think it was a day, I had secured an appointment. So it was very, very, very efficient. Exactly. So then it says what the requirements are. So these are all the things that I'm going to need to bring to the appointment with me. Yes, fingerprints will be taken, which I find just completely bizarre. I don't know, maybe it's just my naivety, but I didn't realise. I'm pretty sure for the French visa I had my fingerprints taken and my eye colour, which is crazy. And you'd think they could just use the same data, but no, I have to have them taken again. We're going to collect all these documents together, and then yeah, that's it really. This was my explanation of the video. I'm going to be working through my application. I've booked my appointment for Monday. It's now Wednesday, so I have 4 days to collect everything I need, and yeah, before my appointment. So this is what the video is going to be. I hope you enjoy or find it useful in some way. I definitely would have done 6 months ago, so I really hope that this benefits someone. It's actually Monday now. I don't know if you can hear me. I hope you can. I'm in London. I was meant to walk you through everything that I did to get my documents in order for my visa appointment, but I had a stressful few days trying to get everything together, and I have about an hour until my appointment, so I've just come to Starbucks for some breakfast, and yeah, I'm gonna go to my appointment in about an hour. So I've just come to a park, and I think it would be good to show you all the documents I had to prepare. So I've got a list on my phone of everything that I had to do. I would get them out, but it's very windy. I'm hoping you can hear me. So I'm just going to show you on my phone what I had to do. So the first thing was to fill in the application form for a Visa D. This was relatively easy. It was about 5 pages, I think. But yeah, just like basic information, like name, address, accommodation address in Austria, this sort of thing. A photograph according to some guidelines, so like I had to get it done in a passport booth thing. Current passport and copy of it, valid for at least 3 months after the intended date of departure. Evidence of present occupation / university, so I just had to email Aston or apply for, I don't even think I had to email them, I think I had to just log on to my Moodle, and yeah, I could have apply for a status certificate kind of thing. Bank statement, and I also made a copy of my student finance funds, travel insurance which Aston provides me with, proof of a transportation to Austria and back to the UK. This one was kind of annoying because I don't actually know when I'm coming back to the UK. My accommodation in Austria finishes on the 31st of July, but I might stay longer there than that and do some travelling. I might go to Germany for a little bit, or, you know, I don't actually know. I don't even know when my exams in Austria are, so it was kind of hard to know when I'd definitely be coming back. And I emailed the embassy, and they said that I had to have the flight booked already. So what I've just done is I've booked a flexi ticket because student finance reimbursed me for my transportation funds anyway. So I just booked a flexi ticket, which was a little bit more expensive, but that meant that if my date does change, because I've booked it for the 1st of August, but if my date does change, then yeah, I can just change it with the flexi ticket. And then the last thing was proof of accommodation in Austria, and I was sent a certificate from my student residence housing when I booked it and paid my deposit. So yeah, just printed off that. To be honest, this application process was so much easier than the French one. I don't know why, or maybe it seems easier because I'd obviously done it before for the French one, but yeah. I'm probably going to make my way to the embassy now and see if I can get in early, because it may take longer. They've said it would only take 20 minutes, which is amazing, because in the French one I was there for 5 hours. But I'm just going to go there now, see if I can go in early, because if so, then I can do stuff after and have more time in London before I head back. Okay, this looks a little embassy with all the flags. I can see the Spanish one and the EU. Just need to find the Austrian one. Okay, it's wrapped around the pole, but it's red and white. Austria and number 18. This is the address I need. I'm all done. That was so easy. When I went to apply for my French visa, I went to this thing called the consulate, I think it was, which was a place called the TLS Centre, and there were many people there, like loads. It was a centre to do the visas for a few different countries, I think. France was one, I can't remember the other ones to be honest. And I went in, had to queue, gave my application form, and then they told me my application form was for the wrong centre. It was for the Manchester centre instead of the London centre, and I thought, oh no, I'm going to be sent home. It's going to take 2 weeks to get another appointment because it took so long to get an appointment. But they said it's okay, you can print out another application form here. So I used their computers because you had to do it on their computers. Halfway through doing the form, the website crashed and it didn't start up again for about 2 hours. So I was waiting in this building for 2 hours. I then obviously lost my place in the queue, had to queue up again to hand in my application form once the website got back up and running. Had to queue up again and then handed in my application form, and then they sent me through to another room. I had to wait for ages and ages, maybe another hour, until someone saw me. Then I handed in all my other documents and then they sent me back out again. I had to wait for maybe another hour, maybe an hour and a half, and then they took my fingerprints and I think they took my eye colour. And I was one of the last people to leave the building, even though my appointment was supposed to be at 1:15. And I left, I think, at 5:30, I think, which was so annoying because then I'd missed my train back and I had to get another one. This place, on the other hand, it was just a tiny building, like you were in one room, a little reception area, and then you just went to a booth, a bit like at the post office. She just asked for my documents and then took my fingerprints, done. I was in and out of there. Well, my appointment itself when I handed over the documents was about 10 minutes max. So that's amazing. Now I have some time to do some other things. I did ask whether I could wait in London until my visa had been approved, but she said it's not possible because it has to go to someone else to get signed and printed, blah blah blah, put in my passport. But she did say that it should take less than 2 weeks, which is good because I came here from Ollie's, because getting a train from my house in Wales was so expensive. It was over £100. Whereas if I went to my boyfriend's, who lives near Birmingham, it was so much less, maybe like £40. If I went from his, I got to see him as well, and yeah, so kind of got to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So that was good. And yeah, I'm going up to his again in 2 weeks' time, so I'm hoping that that will coincide nicely with coming back to London, because if it does, I can probably just go from his again, save myself some money. My arm's aching. Oh. And yeah, go and pick up my visa, my passport. Yeah, and then that will all be done well in time for my trip. And I've been filming for 5 minutes, so I'm going to go now. Hello. What day is it now? It is Thursday. When did I go to London? I went to London on Monday. And yesterday I received an email from the Austrian embassy, and it says, "Dear Sir, Madam, the embassy can confirm that a decision has been made on your application. The embassy is unable to disclose the decision, but it can be confirmed that your passport is ready for collection. Please come to the embassy from Monday to Friday between 9 AM and 11:30 AM. Yeah, obviously it took next to no time at all, which is great. I can now plan in advance my trip to go back down there to collect my passport. I could actually go on Monday again, but I'll have to have a look at trains and see how expensive things are. So that's great. I am kind of assuming that I got the visa. I'm hoping so. It'll be really annoying if I go and I don't have it, but obviously I don't know really why they can't tell me whether I've got it or not. As I said, I don't know when I'm going to go back to get it, but yeah, so far I'm so impressed with the Austrian visa application process. Kind of wish it was this easy when I did my other one, but I guess I'm kind of also finding it easier because like I've done the application process before. So that's all I have to say really. I will probably see you again when I go back to London and yeah, collect my passport. Fingers crossed that I've got a visa. It is now Monday. I'm back in London, as you will have seen from those clips that I just filmed. I have come back to collect my passport. I think I said before that they haven't actually told me whether or not I've got my visa, but I'm hoping they have, because they didn't ask for any more documents, or they didn't say that there was a problem with my application. So I'm just crossing fingers that it's in there. And yeah, I did have to check because they said I could only collect it between 9 and half 11, which was going to be a bit tight because the train takes 2 hours, which would have meant me leaving so early if I wanted to get to London before half 11, or to the embassy. Obviously once you're in London, obviously you've got all the transport to get to the actual embassy, which takes an extra maybe like 25 minutes. So yeah, I'm about 5 minutes away, so I shall update you when I've left the embassy, and hopefully I will have my visa. I'm a little bit annoyed because I just got to the embassy and they told me they were closed for an hour, which is annoying because I had emailed them specifically to ask if I could come later than half 11, and they said that yeah, you can get it any time until 3. They didn't tell me that they were shut for an hour. I'm assuming from 12:30 till 1:30, because they said I just got there and the guy said you have to come back at 1:30, everyone's gone on their lunch. So that's annoying because I had stuff that I wanted to do. I was just going to go and get my passport and then do some stuff before my train, because I haven't actually got that long in London this time. I got a train back at 2:30. But now I've got to wait till 1:30, then I can go and get my passport, and then I might just have to go straight back to the train. I don't know if I'll have time to do the things that I wanted to do. So yeah, I've just come back to Victoria. I have got some sushi. Yum. I'm very tired today. Yeah, I'm just gonna eat this and then make my way back to the embassy and hopefully get my passport. Okay, I've got my visa, which is great. So I can finally relax, and now I can do everything else that I need to do for Austria, which isn't much to be honest, but the main thing is sorted, which is great. And I was at the embassy pretty much bang on 1:30 when they said they were reopening, and thankfully they skipped me through everyone who was in front of me. I think they were making visa applications rather than just picking them up. So I mean, now it's 13:38, so I was only in there 8 minutes, which is great. I am so pleased, and yeah, now I can finally let myself get excited, and well, even more excited, and look forward to going to Austria. Hello everybody, it is now, I can't even remember how much later it is since I filmed the last clip, but I was unwell for a little bit, so I couldn't finish off this video. But I just wanted to go over, kind of wrap things up with the whole visa process for Austria and say what I thought of everything, which is nothing but positive, to be honest. I found the process very, very simple, very easy. Pretty straightforward as well. Compared to the French one, it was a lot more straightforward. The one thing that's different, if I get my passport I can show you. So I'm not going to show you my actual visa because I don't think that would be wise for some reason. But when I got my visa, I did have to go back and check, because for my French visa, they gave it to me, so they issued it for 6 months, which is the maximum time that you can have the visa D for. But for the Austria, even though I was in France from September to January, but for the Austrian visa, they only gave it to me for my term dates, which is from the 1st of March to the end of June, bearing in mind after the end of June I will have exams for 2 weeks, I think. So I did have to go back and check that that was right, because yeah, like with the French one, it covered my whole time there, so I didn't know whether the Austrian one was supposed to as well. But he explained that this is fine, only covering me for my term dates, because I will still have the 90-day visa-free travel allowance to use. So for example, my visa starts from the 1st of March and I'm going to be there from the 24th of February. So I'll go there or using my visa-free travel allowance. And then any time that I spend in Austria after the 30th of June, which is when my visa, the end date for my visa, then it will also eat into my visa-free travel allowance. Kind of annoying, because if I was planning on doing a lot of travelling, like the French visa covered longer than I need to, which was great because that meant I could not use my travel allowance. But yeah, the Austrian one just covers the term date. So that's my only thing to worth noting. I mean, not that it's anything, but something that was different to the French one. Other than that, I found the process very easy, very simple. Kind of, yeah, I don't know how helpful this video is actually going to be now because of how straightforward I found the process. But nevertheless, it might have helped someone, and that was my main aim for this video, because I would have really appreciated a video like this for the French one. So I'm probably going to end this video here. I am going to Vienna next week. I'm so excited. There's so many things I keep searching on Pinterest that I want to do. Like, I really want to go and see the Spanish riding school. There's so many things I want to visit, like the Palmen House. There's just too many things. I've watched a documentary the other day about amazing places to eat, and Vienna was on there, and it just looks fantastic. All the Apfelstrudel. I cannot wait to try a traditional, authentic Viennese Apfelstrudel. They look just amazing. I feel a little bit unprepared, to be honest, because yeah, I feel like I've got a lot to do, but hopefully I can get it all sorted. And yeah, this time next week I'll be, well, not quite, I'll be on my way to the airport. I won't be in Vienna next. I do have to fly to Amsterdam. I don't know if I said. My total journey length, well, my flight length, so to speak, is 4 hours long, because I do have to change in Amsterdam. It was possible to fly direct, but I think it was I think I had to fly from London or Manchester, and they were at really awkward times. And because London and Manchester are so far away from me in Wales, I didn't really want to go for those, because if they were at a good time and it made travelling to London or Manchester easy, yeah, it would have been ideal. But they were awkward times, and then I would have had to travel there, so it would have been even more awkward, so I didn't go for that. But yeah, so I'm travelling from Bristol, which is the closest, like, biggest airport to me, which is great. And yeah, I have to have a short stopover in Amsterdam, and then I'll get to Vienna quite late at night, I think, maybe at like 11 PM. But yeah, very excited. So stay tuned for some more videos, because no doubt I will be uploading some more content sometime soon. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. If you've stayed this far, then yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in another video sometime soon. Bye.